The aim of this action research is to explore how I can improve my practice and in student engagement by providing opportunities for social interactions through a dialogic pedagogy. This research will be conducted within a low socio-economic government primary school situated in the Greater Western Sydney region. The school employs a play-based approach to learning that focuses on providing students with autonomy, support, and structure in their learning. Play breaks are employed throughout the day for each class to assist in increasing student motivation, engagement, and cognitive outcomes. The school's strategic direction plan highlights a deep concentration on student growth and attainment through explicit teaching and effective classroom practice initiatives that will optimize learning progress for all students and promote collaborative practices where teams share curriculum knowledge, ideas, and advice. The school is also focusing on student well-being so students can be supported in connecting, succeeding, thriving, and learning. This is being addressed by fostering positive relationships across the school by promoting social, emotional, behavioral, and intellectual engagement. The research will relate to a Stage 1 class consisting of Year 1 and 2 students. The classroom has an open learning space where students are provided with choice for their workstations. There are desks with and without chairs and cushions for floor work. The room is decorated with students' artworks and informative posters. There are 24 students within the class that have diverse skills, needs, and abilities. The teacher's pedagogy aligns with the school's approach of explicit teaching through the I do, we do, you do model, along with play-based learning, with brain breaks being employed at least twice a day in various forms, including Just Dance and outdoor and indoor games. Students engage in mindfulness through meditation at least once a day to assist with their well-being. The teacher applies a constructivist approach to teaching through collaborative learning opportunities and reflective practices. Reward systems such as Class Dojo and lollies are used within the classroom to encourage positive behaviour, student engagement, and student motivation. The Me framework will be used in this research to promote student engagement. Whilst the teacher does include high affective, cognitive, and operative experiences in learning activities, by challenging students intellectually, creating an environment where students can take risks, and a thoughtful repertoire of practices, student motivation still presents as low, with a fear of failure and high anxiety common among pupils, which in turn causes negative engagement, as shown in Martin's motivation and engagement wheel. By implementing dialogic pedagogy through collaborative learning experiences, I aim to increase student engagement and motivation by acting as a facilitator for learning through a student-centered approach. This will assist in my ability to create an insider classroom where all students feel supported in their learning. Whilst collaborative learning already takes place within this classroom, meaningful discourse is lacking. Students appear reliant on the teacher and high-achieving students to carry the conversation with minimal input from other pupils. With a dialogic pedagogical approach, all students in the class will be supported in the construction of knowledge through questioning, interrogation, and negotiation of ideas and opinions. Students will be encouraged to engage in classroom discourse, whether that be with peers or the teacher. Increase learning opportunities encompassing group discussions, problem solving, brainstorming sessions, and collaborative learning activities such as Think, Pair, Share, peer teaching and editing, and small group discussions will be utilised to encourage student engagement so that truly meaningful discourse takes place in learning through social interactions that stimulate and extend students' thinking. In terms of my teaching specialization of English, a dialogic pedagogy will promote fluency in speaking, listening, reading, writing, and creating texts, as it cultivates communication, collaboration, and criticality through high affective, cognitive, and operative experiences that create a sense of belonging and support the notion outlined in the Me framework that school is for me, thus enabling improved student engagement. The following slides show three interconnected lessons that encompass a dialogic pedagogical approach to teaching and learning. In these lessons, students will engage in collaborative learning discussions that encourage meaningful discourse between the students and teacher, as well as peers and brainstorming sessions. The lessons provide high operative, cognitive, and affecting learning experiences for students, as outlined in the brief lesson summaries provided. Engaging messages are also supplied in each lesson in numerous ways, with strategies for increasing motivation also put into place. This mini unit of work seeks to promote an insider classroom as defined in the Me framework by employing a dialogic pedagogy that engages students through social interactions as they construct knowledge and understanding. I will use data collection and analysis to evaluate my professional growth and development by focusing on my implementation of a dialogic pedagogy that is student centered and concentrates on providing opportunities for social interactions through collaborative learning experiences to improve student engagement. I will use observations, work samples, and conversational data to evaluate student engagement within the unit of work. The observation schedule displayed will be used to collect student data with a focus on student behaviour, teachers' actions, and levels of engagement. This schedule will collect data through formal, covert observations to ensure a higher yield of quantitative data due to the level of detail in the observations. I will also conduct observations through informal and covert methods by taking observational notes, photographs, and recordings during and post lessons. These observations will not intrude on students' learning engagement during learning experiences and allows for a more authentic evaluation of learning. I will collect conversational data through the methods outlined on this slide. This data will concentrate on discourse within the classroom, including student, teacher, and peer discussions. Work samples will also be collected for each lesson. Various collection methods are outlined on the slide that will allow for tangible, intangible, group, and collective work samples to be gathered for data analysis. Each of these data collection methods comes with affordances and limitations, as demonstrated in this table. These affordances and limitations highlight the importance of collecting various types of data to generate evidence and support your knowledge claims in an action research project so that they remain valid and unencumbered by limitations. Guided by McNiff's approach to analyzing and interpreting data and generating evidence, I will analyze the data gathered through each of these selected methods to identify trends and patterns with a view to describing and explaining the action. Student engagement will be analysed by using a coding system where keywords and themes are given symbols. The criteria for measuring student engagement has been informed by Munns, Sawyer, and Cole's Classroom Planning Guide and Observation and Reflection Guide by analysing high cognitive, high affective, and high operative engagement in learning experiences. Markers for engagement are displayed within the table and can be found in the different data collection methods. Conversation and observation data will show each of these markers, and work samples will highlight levels of intellectual challenge, higher order thinking, links between prior and new knowledge, ownership of learning, and the effectiveness of collaborative learning. Markers for disengagement will include poor communication, silence, minimal discourse, lack of participation, and links between learning. Student achievement will be measured against the syllabus outcomes to inform data analysis. Marking rubrics will be used to analyse student engagement and achievement levels with the educational outcomes present in the mini unit of work. Coding will also be used to identify markers of engaging messages that have been used by the teacher to create an insider classroom as outlined in Munns, Sawyer and Cole. This data analysis will inform how teaching practices and actions have been employed and what effect they have had on students during learning experiences. Each of these data sets will provide information on factors that promote student engagement, including the effectiveness of dialogic pedagogy and social learning experiences. This action research project will improve my teaching practice by establishing a more student-centered classroom where the teacher acts as a facilitator for learning through the implementation of a dialogic pedagogy that promotes learning through social interactions, collaboration, and meaningful discourse. The exploration of dialogic pedagogy, a 21st century approach to teaching and learning, has demonstrated how student engagement and achievement can be fostered and enhanced by shifting teaching practices and approaches. If this action research was implemented within the classroom, it would meet various focus areas within the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers, outlined in the table displayed. Standard 1 would be met, as research is being used to understand how students learn and how will this inform teaching practices. Standard 2 is addressed as content is structured and a student-centered approach is employed. Standard 3 is met, as teaching is being evaluated to improve learning. Standard 4 is addressed by endeavouring to create an insider classroom. Standard 5 is met through data assessment, evaluation of learning, and modified teaching practices. Standards 6 and 7 are also addressed as research engages with community networks to promote learning and professional learning takes place through reflective practices during research. This action research project has provided me with the opportunity to reflect on my practices and explore how student engagement is affected by teaching approaches and learning experiences. The implications of this will guide my future teaching and practices within my teaching specialisation area of English, as I have been provided with a framework for action research that explores how the application of effective pedagogies can promote high levels of student learning, achievement, and engagement, which can then be employed to support proficiency within English and literacy.